Welcome everybody to the Urantia book. We are doing a deeper dive into the afterlife. Remember, this book is written by advanced celestial beings who know exactly what's going to take place after this life. This is something that's called the Morantia life. Morantia is a term that they use to describe the intervening levels between man the material, which is where we are right now, and man the spiritual. So remember, the Urantia book teaches about this progress, this evolution that doesn't just happen in one step, as we learn about in Christianity or other religions similar, and it doesn't happen as many redoing of the same world and planet thousands and thousands of times like we learn about in Buddhism and Hinduism. So here is a great line that perfectly sums up the reasoning why this makes logical sense. That wouldn't be like either one of those systems here. The gods cannot, at least they do not, transform a creature of gross animal nature into a perfected spirit by some mysterious act of creative magic. When the creators desire to produce perfect beings, they do so by direct and original creation, but they never undertake to convert animal origin and material creatures into beings of perfection in a single step. So they're talking about these direct and original creations of perfect beings. Those are the citizens of Havona, your angelic beings who will never go astray. There's so many created beings in perfection, but we are evolutionary origin beings who are to attain that level through life after life in world after world. It's a different phase of the universe. The original phase was this created in perfection idea, the central universe of Havona, which we will journey to, and we will associate with these beings. And these beings, they are perfect, but they don't have the evolutionary understanding. We are imperfect, and we do have an evolutionary understanding. So there's a magic that happens. I don't know if you want to call magic. There's a logic that happens when you put those two together, and then they can each have their own unique standpoint in the universe. So that's why both of these things are happening: created beings and evolutionary origin. If you were created in perfection, you wouldn't know what it was like to be down here in this material world, and you're making mistakes, you're figuring them out, and it's a totally different understanding. The Morantia life, extending as it does over the various stages of the local universe career, is the only possible approach whereby material mortals could attain the threshold of the spirit world. Okay, so that is just, this is the way that it has to be, because it's material is so far removed from spiritual. Even though that the spirit is all around us and it dwells within us, it isn't the material. They're discrete realms of existence, meaning separate from each other, notwithstanding their intimate coordination. Here's a great line. This is a perfect one-liner for this. What magic could death, the natural dissolution of the material body, hold that such a simple step should instantly transform the mortal and material mind into an immortal and perfected spirit? Such beliefs are but ignorant superstitions and pleasing fables. So take your whole Christianity, Judaism, the other ones that just say, okay, you die and then you go to heaven. Boom, that's one step. Well, they said, what did you really do? You didn't do anything. All you did was dissolute your physical body in that death. That death didn't do anything to you. Sure, maybe you had faith, which is one thing to master in a universe, or beyond a universe of things to master, of loving service. I mean, things that we can't even comprehend what the topics are that we need to understand and learn and master in order then to be at this level of divinity, this what would be considered a first stage spirit being. The whole entire Morantia phase is learning all about how to, and they touch on it here, okay? So we're going more in depth to this than we did the last video. Always this Morantia transition intervenes the mortal estate and the subsequent spirit status of surviving human beings. This intermediate state of universe progress differs markedly in the various local creations, but in intent and purpose they are all quite similar. The arrangement of the mansions in the higher Morancha worlds in Nebadon, which is the name of our local universe, is fairly typical of the Morancha transition regimes in this part of Orvanton. I'm sorry. Orvanton. That is our super universe. Okay, so that's just basically saying it's a similar training regime that goes through, and you're gonna want it. It's not like it's this thing where, like, when you were a kid and you had to go to school. I mean, we're talking about glorious, unbelievable beauties and joys, and just beyond your comprehension about how enjoyable this is all going to be. Why wouldn't you want it? Why wouldn't you want to go through with this? The Morancha realms are the local universe liaison spheres between the material and spiritual levels of creature existence. This Morancha life has been known on Urantia since the early days of the planetary prince, and that's explained another part in the book. We won't get into it now. You just have to read the whole book for yourself. From time to time, this transition state has been taught to mortals, which is us, and the concept in distorted form has found a place in the present-day religions. The Morancha, because like even in Christianity, there's a quote in the Bible that says, "In my Father's world there are many mansions." That's referring to the Morancha state, but then they got other aspects of it wrong. The Morancha spheres are the transition phases of mortal ascension through the progression worlds of the local universe. Only the 7 worlds surrounding the finalizer sphere of the local systems are called mansions, but all 56 of the system transition abodes, in common with the higher spheres around the constellations and the universe headquarters, are called Morancha worlds. See, there's first 7, but then there's so many more that we have to go through and learn. I mean, it's vast, but it's beautiful. I mean, you're gonna love it. You're gonna want it. These creations partake of the physical beauty in the Morancha grandeur of the local universe headquarters sphere. See, since they're intervening, that there's still some aspect of the physical that's there. All of these worlds are architectural spheres, which means that they're made to order, and they have just double the number of elements of the evolved planets. Okay, so made to order worlds means they didn't evolve from, asteroids colliding around suns and stuff. Not only number of the elements of the evolved, or not only abound in the heavy metals and crystals, having 100 physical elements, so there's just so much more out there, but likewise have exactly 100 forms of a unique energy organization called Morancha material. The master physical controllers and the Morancha power supervisors are able to so modify the revolutions of the primary units of matter, and at the same time so transform these associations of energy as to create this new substance. Beings do this, okay? These master physical controllers are actual beings in the universe who then are able to, use their own imaginations, whatever it is, their own volition, to create new substances from. Okay, the early Morancha life in the local system is very much like that of your present material world, becoming less physical and more truly Moranchal on the constellation study worlds. It's a very gradual progression here. And as you advance to the Solvington spheres, you increasingly attain spiritual levels. The Morancha power supervisors are able to effect a union of material and spiritual energies, thereby organizing a Morancha form of materialization which is receptive to the superimposition of a controlling spirit. When you traverse the Morancha life from Nebadon, these same patient and skillful Morancha power supervisors will successively provide you with 570 Morancha bodies, each one a phase of your progressive transformation. So each time you get a new body. So the aspects of this Buddhism idea about this almost transmutation or whatever it is correct, but it's on a different world each time. It's a whole different ball game. than just redoing Earth 570 or however many thousands of times. From the time of leaving the material worlds until you are constituted a first stage spirit on Salvington, you will undergo just 570 separate and ascending Morontia changes. 8 of these occur in the system, 71 in the constellation, and 491 during the sojourn of the spheres of Salvington. So it speaks about the vastness. We can't even comprehend really what we're going to be learning and all that sort of stuff. But the essence is still there. It's still going to be about love, service, faith in God, and everything. See, faith is still important at these levels, because you do these 570 transformations, you're still not standing in direct, presence of the eternal God in the center of infinity on the Isle of Paradise. You're not there yet. You wouldn't even, they say if you were to go there, you wouldn't even be able to recognize it and see it, because your eyes aren't even of that makeup. It's just like right now. I mean, it's all around us right now, and we can't see it. In the days of the mortal flesh, the divine spirit indwells you almost as a thing apart. In reality, an invasion of man by the bestowed spirit of the universal Father. Because we're given this spirit guide, whether we didn't ask for it when we were a child. It says it starts to indwell you after, first few years of life. We didn't say as a 3-year-old, geez, God, I wish you could give me a spirit helper, fragment of divinity to dwell within me. So it's this separate thing, but it says here, in the Morontia life, the spirit will become a real part of your personality. So you're really working with this spirit entity, which they call the thought adjuster, that is indwelling you. And as you successfully pass through the 570 progressive transformations, you ascend from the material to the spiritual estate of creature life. Okay, so here's a little reference from the Bible. Paul learned of the existence of the Morontia world and of the reality of the Morontia materials, for he wrote, "They have in heaven a better and more enduring substance." Interesting. I didn't know. I'm sure that's from the Bible. And these Morontia materials are real, literal, even as in the city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. And each of these marvelous spheres is a better country, that is a heavenly one. So that is just the first kind of introduction to what Morontia, that's the Morontia materials and the Morontia life. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. Please like and subscribe, and we will get this life-changing message, world-changing message out. Thanks again.